the discounted cash flow model returned an NPV at a 7.5% discount rate of just over $1.2 billion, an internal rate of return of 41.7% or 42%, and payback of about 27 months, which was based on a 25-year mine life, a capex of $211 million, and operating costs per pound of $3.24, and it was based on a price of about $9.50, in fact, right on top of $9.50, which was a price that we have been provisioned by a market research, well-known market research facility. We currently hold about 74% interest in the project, which equates to an attributable NPV of about $900 million. But more recently, we've announced that we've entered into agreements to increase the interest in the project by acquiring interest from our Black Economic Empowerment partners, to increase the interest from what it is now of 74% to 86.5%. This transaction will be subject to South African Reserve Bank approval, which is awaited, and would then not require the company to fulfill the minimum ownership requirements, as a principle that's called once empowered, always empowered is implemented in terms of that transaction. That helps a lot with funding the project, as BEE interests are not free carried. So as these parties acquire an interest in VR8, then the company is better positioned now, holding an 86.5% interest to progress the project. The current mineral resource stands at 680 million tons at 0.7% V2O5 vanadium pentoxide, with 4.74 million tons of contained V2O5. That makes it one of the largest deposits in the world. The total ore reserve, which is there for the purposes of the 25-year life of mine, of course, that stands at 0.55 million tons or 500,000 tons of contained metal. And this represents only about 12% of the total mineral resource. What's important is that at a run of mine production rate of 3.5 million tons per annum, which is then based on the phase 2 of the project, we have a 180-year life of mine in that project, which is pretty much puts the project into tier 1 territory from a mineral resource point of view. So the project is located in the world famous Bushveld igneous complex, the mining location that hosts several major mining operations. In that valley alone, there are just around us, about 25 kilometers away from us, or in the same area, there's about 9 mining operations owned by several large companies. The infrastructure that's there consists of the right equipment, everything else, water, power, everything else that a mining operation would need, because those operations are already there. The relevant environmental authorizations and permitting and everything else are also underway. So we expect to make use of that infrastructure very shortly. The processing pathway is relatively straightforward and well established. It's also a technically proven process that's been used in the Bushveld region for many decades, 60 years or so. This processing pathway is currently used at existing operations in the Bushveld, notably by Bushveld Minerals and Glencore. But it's also used by Largo in Brazil. And the process has been used within the region, as I mentioned, for many decades. So it's well established. The processing pathway comprises of two key stages of processing, which first is a concentrator, which will comprise a primary crushing and a secondary crushing circuit, then a milling, and then a magnetic separator to produce a concentrate, approximately between 2 and 2.15%. And then the second stage is a salt roast leach operation, which will comprise of a roasting kiln, a cooler with off-gas handling equipment, and then a water leach facility. So we don't use any acids, water leach facility, and facilities then with filtration, a desalination circuit, and then a AMV or a ammonia meta vanadate precipitation circuit that then goes into a flex furnace, which with a cooler circuit then produces the product. And then also to recover some of the sodium sulfate, we will have a crystallizer that will be reused then again in the kiln.